The Outer Worlds is an upcoming first-person perspective RPG developed by Obsidian Entertainment that looks to turn back the clock to a more tried-and-true form of RPG-style game. I first saw a trailer for this game at the Game Awards of 2018 and was immediately interested in the potential that it had. After finding out more about the game recently, I thought I'd highlight some of the reasons you should be excited for the Outer Worlds if you enjoy role-playing games. Reason number 1, let's start with the developer, Obsidian Entertainment. If you're excited about a game in particular, it's pretty likely that one of the reasons that you're excited about it are the people making it. The creators of the original Fallout games, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, Fallout New Vegas, and many other great RPGs, Obsidian Entertainment has earned a place among the top RPG devs in the industry today. They build engaging worlds with interesting characters and storylines. With this new IP, Obsidian looks to get back some of the magic they worked up in their Fallout games in a time where the more recent entries of Fallout have been lackluster at best. Being able to look at Obsidian's track record and see the successes that they've had only makes me more excited to find out more about the Outer Worlds. Number 2, the not-so-open world of this game. My favorite RPG series is Mass Effect, and I've said that multiple times that I'm a die-hard Mass Effect fan, and the original trilogy, if I had to pick one set of games to play for the rest of my life, I think I would pick the Mass Effect trilogy. And one of the great things about those games is the fact that they give the illusion of an open world without all the time-draining activities they're typically stuffed with. Fetch quests and OCD collection addictions are all too common in open-world RPGs these days. Some may see it as a downside, and that's perfectly fine. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but I have personally grown tired of the constant flower, material, or mineral collection that goes on in open-world games. The Outer Worlds has you explore different hub-type areas for missions and adventures instead of throwing you in one giant open map where you have to traverse from place to place. When in an area, you're free to explore, converse, and complete tasks how you please, but the main goal is to get things done. Less roaming around aimlessly and more attention to detail. Of course, there is exploration in this game, but the worlds aren't as large as, say, a map in Skyrim, for instance. You can go from world to world, area to area, using your ship as a transport, but like in Mass Effect, you're not able to pilot it. You basically use it as a fast travel system. This is a huge positive for me in an RPG, as I just don't feel like running around anymore aimlessly for hours at a time picking flowers. Number 3, the length of the game. Something that's come up recently is a debate on how long the Outer Worlds is expected to be. It's not really known at this time, but we shouldn't be expecting the game to last 50 to 70 hours in one playthrough like most open world RPGs. I would suspect you'll be able to complete the game within 30 hours or so, favoring quality over quantity. Any game can be filled to the brim with missions and adventures that just drag on forever, or long, extensive travel times going from place to place. But one of the main reasons I'm excited for the Outer Worlds is because it will be a quote-unquote shorter RPG. I'll go back to the Mass Effect trilogy reference. Those games would take you about 25 to 30 hours depending on how much you did in the game, and that was plenty, and it kept me engaged throughout the whole thing. I feel like one of the things that made Mass Effect Andromeda worse than the original trilogy, besides some of the obvious things that people always mention, was that everything seemed so disjointed. I could spend 4 hours running around on a planet and completely forget what I was doing, or what the current story mission was even about. I wasn't even sure who some of the characters were at some points because it had just been so long since I've done something related to the main story. Being a shorter RPG also will allow for greater replayability, allowing you to go back through the game another time, in case you want to make different choices or go down different paths. The Outer Worlds won't be as daunting to those of us that don't have time to sink 100 hours into each game that we play. Number 4, the setting. The Outer Worlds is set in a distant future universe where big corporations have taken over everything people do and everything people think about. The population has seemingly sworn their allegiance to these corporations, and each faction will behave differently and respond to the player's choices differently. Your character is awoken from cryosleep to find out exactly what's going on and uncover the story. The game will mainly take place on 2 planets, they say, but there are also other areas to explore like moons and space stations, as well as your own ship. From the trailers and gameplay that I've seen so far, it seems like a mix-up of styles between Borderlands, BioShock, No Man's Sky, and Mass Effect. Not a bad combination to be compared to. Number 5. The various systems in the game. There are a number of systems in play in the Outer Worlds, covering the combat, perks, flaws, companions, and dialogue. The combat is similar to most FPS RPGs out there, where you shoot enemies with different weapons and use the abilities of your squad mates in battle. The main ability of your character is called Tactical Time Dilation, which basically is very similar if you've played a game that has bullet time. It's also similar to the VAT system in Fallout, but you're in full control of when and where you shoot during the slow time. You also can use it to assess the situation and choose your next step in the encounter, so you don't actually have to shoot while you're in this mode. You can activate it to take a breather, or decide to make your squad mate attack an enemy. It's just a way to slow down time. Obviously, I have no experience with the game, I haven't played it or anything like that, but the combat seems okay based off of what I've seen so far. I don't think it'll be a major selling point of the game by any means, but it'll be interesting enough to keep things fresh throughout. You'll also be able to level up your character with a perk system. It's rumored to be similar to the special system in Fallout if you've played the Fallout games, but not much is known at this point other than you will be able to level up your character. You'll be able to customize your character to fit the playstyle that you like, allowing you to approach each situation differently than others. You can choose to take on an encounter using stealth, using strictly combat, using your abilities, or you can possibly talk your way out of it. Now, a unique system in the game is the flaw system. If you have trouble with a certain type of enemy a few times, or if you get burned on multiple occasions by fire, the game will give you a choice if you want to fear those enemies, or have fear of fire, and so on. And what this does, it will apply a debuff to your character if you come across those things in the future. So if you decide that, yes, you want your character to fear fire from here on out, then every time that you encounter fire, your character will receive a slight debuff to certain aspects. But there's a trade-off and you actually gain some points in other areas. It will grant you additional perks to make up for your debuff that you have. I think this is a pretty cool risk and reward type of thing. It'll also give you new ways to try and play the game with these additional choices. As you go through the game, like other RPGs, you'll recruit companions to join your party and go along with you on your journey. These companions will have special abilities and provide unique missions to complete as well. You can also lose a companion for good if you end up making decisions that they don't agree with. You can tactically use your companions in battle, like I said before, and in conversations, so choosing the right ones for each mission will be critical, especially when playing on harder difficulties. This also reminds me of Mass Effect, and I'll go back to it again just because it's my favorite series. Using the different companions that you have in Mass Effect, they bring up different conversations during the missions, they allow you to benefit from certain abilities in combat, and I hear there are quite a few different companions that you'll have on your ship with you as you go through the world. Definitely a plus in my book. But let's talk about the dialogue of the game. Much like early Fallout games where your character isn't voiced, you choose from a number of different responses to interact with NPCs around the world.
My research may not quite fall within legal parameters, so I'm under orders to maintain wireless silence. However, having your head used as target practice can addle one's thinking.
You can persuade, play dumb, or intimidate others as well, which offer different outcomes and conversations. Being that your character isn't voiced, you'll need to ensure you're choosing the right dialogue options at all times. Your decisions will matter in the Outer Worlds. You can also call upon your squad mates to help out during certain conversations, like I said before. They showed an example of your character playing dumb, and there's a lot of humor in this game. It seems like they have a lot of sarcastic things going on. But altogether, all these systems seem pretty deep and should make for a fun and unique experience with the game. And last but not least, I want to address the recent Microsoft acquisition of Obsidian. So Obsidian Entertainment was recently acquired by Microsoft as they look to gear up for the next generation of consoles. Microsoft has made a considerable effort to get a lot of first-party devs under their control so that they can have a lot of first-party games going into the next generation. Obsidian is indeed working on a new game for Microsoft. However, The Outer Worlds has been in development for some time, so the purchase by Microsoft will not impact where The Outer Worlds will be available. It's set to launch on Xbox One, PS4, and PC through Steam sometime in 2019, and the extra security that Microsoft provides should only help the game's success. Even though this isn't a first-party game for Xbox and Microsoft, they want it to be successful because their brand new company that they acquired can have a successful game, which means people will be more likely to purchase the next one. It also means that we'll hopefully see a sequel to The Outer Worlds if it does well, now that Obsidian has some financial stability. Whether or not the next entry would be a Microsoft exclusive remains to be seen. Now these are just some of the main reasons that I have high hopes for The Outer Worlds. As we get closer to release, I'm sure the excitement will build. The footage that you've been seeing in the background is from the announced trailer that came out at the Game Awards, as well as the gameplay walkthrough that was done by Game Informer the very next day. I have the original links to those videos in the description as always if you want to check them out. I know I mainly covered Battle Royale type games on my channel here, but I'll always be a single player gamer at heart. Some of my favorite memories playing games have come from games very similar to The Outer Worlds, and I'm really excited to find out more about the game and get invested in Obsidian's new IP. But let me know what you guys think. Are you excited? Is this the first you're hearing of it, or have you seen some of this footage before? If you'd like to see more information on the Outer Worlds, definitely let me know in the comment section below, and give the video a like if you enjoyed. Also, make sure to subscribe to my channel to stay up to date on everything that I publish. I'd like to cover more on this game, the news going forward, so I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be interested in all the new things that are going to come out on it. Remember to follow me on Twitter and join my Discord. The links are in the description as well. But with that being said, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Until next time, I'll see you later.
You know you didn't have to shoot either one, right? But it's fine, I guess. You just keep being you.